Hey, Steve Zonard here with Mike Addy with Real Estate on Record. We're just actually chatting about our fair event that we're doing in Nobleton right now. Or not a fair event, it's, what are we
The
doing?
Nobleton Fair. We're doing the
Nobleton Fair, rather, yeah. Our Treviso Realty office in Southwest Florida, kind of, we're migrating Canadians from Canada into Florida if they're not looking to move there physically, but at least they have a portal directly through Kleinburg into Southwest Florida for real estate. And then we're there with boots on the ground, so it's giving Canadians that confidence and that feel good feeling that they have somebody there locally.
Real estate became mainstream, became very popular. Now, Mike, you mentioned that the last episode. Why do you say that it's very mainstream?
I think there's more information around it, and you can see how you can actually, like you say, make your money pregnant by planting it into a property. It's growing, and then you're pulling out that money to go purchase another property. So now there's a lot of courses and information really that just shows how you can actually make that money. So it kind of people don't want to work every day. So it's kind of, I think, like a picture that's also painted where you just invest your money, set it and forget it, and live off the equity, which it's not always true until you get to like very high levels. But I think in social media that's painted a lot, so that's why people want to get into it right now.
When everyone was going to Aruba, I went to Cuba. When people bought houses, I lived in my parents' basement. When people were buying Ferraris, I was buying Fiats. You know what I mean? It's always like some sort of sacrifice. You're trying to hold back in order to kind of build forward. Now we have a little bit of momentum where it's like we've done everything properly. And now we have a little bit of momentum. But at some point now, we're gonna have to stop the spending and kind of go back into like heavy bringing in income. Because right now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm spending like a drunken sailor between both businesses and everything like that. But that's not going to stop what we're doing there for investment. Obviously, we're looking at the next segment there too, because we're developing a real estate office there, property management company, and then also the homes. As Mike came to Florida last week, he spent 5 days, and look, poor guy, he's got barely any sun because we were at the office in the morning.
He's like, let's go to the beach. I'm like, no, let's go look at properties.
It's true. It's
That's
true.
smart.
No, it's fun. It's
Now,
amazing.
you are, how old are you?
I'll be 35. You gonna come?
35.
You gonna
So-
give me a birthday gift? It's August 12th, buddy.
Well, yeah, I promise I will. So you're fairly young when it comes to investing. Would you say that? 'Cause-
I guess I've been I purchased my first property. I think I was like 23 or 24 with partners, all with partners.
With partners.
That had like-minded like investing skills.
Okay, so now, what about some of the people now that are watching you on social media and they see that you're rising to fame real quick?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do on the back end that people should really know?
It takes time. This didn't happen overnight. It's
But I want it fast is the mentality, right, Steve?
I want yeah. I want
fast.
everyone wants it yesterday, right? So you have to realize it takes time. And I have mentors too. Like Steve's a mentor. I have other mentors that they've built a shit ton of houses and invested for 30, 40 years, right? And that's their biggest thing is it takes time. You want it all now, but you have to be willing to put in the work. If you're not willing to put in the work, if you think you're just going to do it all in 1 year, you need to start with a shit ton of capital
So
to
people have
do
to
that.
walk before they run.
You have to crawl before you could even walk, never mind running. So yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight. So it's not like, even if I've been on social media, let's say like a year, 6 months, and it's been 10 years of investing and grinding to get to this, and I'm nowhere compared to anyone, right, that's relevant. So
I feel the same way. Like I haven't done shit. To be
yeah,
honest.
no.
There's just no.
And-
I'm
and-
not happy with where I am.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll ever be satisfied. I don't know, like, do
If you're hungry, you're never satisfied.
yeah, I'm never satisfied.
Steve, you can't stop now.
I
You know
just
what I'm saying?
I just think that, like, I don't know, like, you always want to do more, but by the time you get to a certain age, right? I always feel like I'm 41 now. I think, could I have done more if I look back the last 10 years? I don't think so, because even just raising a family, my wife doesn't work. That's obviously, we engineered that for Lisa to raise the kids. It's a tough job. Let's kudos to all the mothers out there that do that. Still living a great life. Like, again, when people are going to Aruba, we went to Cuba. So we always enjoyed ourselves. We always enjoyed with what we had. We never looked at the Joneses and said, I got to compete with them. I didn't give a shit. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you have. All I care about is my family and what we have and what we're happy with. You know what I mean? So we extract every last piece of juice or every juice out of every day. Like, it doesn't matter what we're doing. If we're at the park, we're going to, do it to the best of our ability, right? So it's just, I don't know. Like I think I look in the last 10 years. I don't think I could have done any different. I think now with the momentum now with everything that we bought and sold off with the extra cash now that we're moving it into like the states, it's going to give us another propelment because by like they say you make all your money by 50 supposedly. Like I got 9 years left. I don't know if life expectancy was a lot less back then with Napoleon Hill saying that. Maybe now it's like 60 to 70. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go with the 40 to 50 because that will put a little bit of fire under my ass. But it's like now it's the next step with the development, and I'm not going to shy away from this because it's always like, again, you don't want to have numbers, what do they call it, paralysis by numbers and shit like that, but too much data doesn't make you move. And it's
Analysis by paralysis.
fair enough. Yeah. So it's like the development has to be done now. Like we have to build. Like I said, Mike came down for 5 days. We looked at different neighborhoods. We looked at lots and stuff like that.
Would you say it's make or break? This is the pivotal moment that you have to focus your attention on the building part right now and focus on your job.
You gotta think back. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? So it takes time and.
I disagree. Because Steve's Florida thing was too good to be true, but I did it and it's truth.
But he's real. You found the right guy, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
and I'm also there invested. I own a house in the
exactly.
area. It's like,
like 5 minutes from my house.
it's like
he's not just a guy that's just connecting like you to another agent down there. He's boots on the ground. He has a place in Coconut Point. He's there every day, right? And then he's back and forth between that business and here. So he's real, right?
So between Instagram and TikTok, there's a lot of distractions that are false narratives. How do people stay on trend of real estate while being truthful to their focus?
I think it's
Follow us.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, for sure. But I think at the end, it's you can kind of read bullshit. I don't know if it's just being street smart, but I can be in a room and just figure it out quickly. I know it's the eye movement, something that's always like it's just.
You don't need anything from anyone. What about the people who are in a bad
But
situation?
I need a lot. Like when I got into real estate, like again, guys, we grew up whatever middle class and shit. I read my first book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki when I was like 21. And that's like the first book I read in my life, like physically like chosen read that wasn't car magazines. So it was like who's real and who's not. Like I went to these seminars, but you can kind of get the gist of it in a few ones. You're like, this guy's full of shit. There's nothing here. You buy a few products. Like, I mean, it's like, then you can kind of, they all basically fit the same mold after. You know what I'm saying? Like these people, like you're going to have to go through the growing pains at some point. But ultimately when you saw the hustle, it's like, ugh, this is garbage. Like then you can see that mold and you can kind of overlap it because the shysters have the same mold for everything.
Yeah.
And then you got the guys they're actually doing it and they're living it.
Yeah, I was looking to invest prior.
Would you feel it would be a lot more difficult?
100%. He makes everything easy now
Exactly.
because he's done it himself, right? He's been through the process, so that's like without tenfold easier than it would have been by myself.
Sum this up. When it comes to being educated on social media, how do you guys combat the false narratives?
It's hard.
It is. It's not easy. Yeah, it's gonna take. Like as the consumer, like for myself, from my own experience, it took me a while. Like I went through. I signed up for Grant Cardone stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa,
like,
that's huge.
But that was like 7-8 years ago, and then you realize it's
what
like
was in there? How much?
Yeah.
there's a shit ton of shit, but like there's no guidance. Like honestly, I've signed up for Kiyosaki, his investing thing. The best one I found was Keyspire, but like at the end of the day, you have to like vet these things too. And
so was Grant Cardone worth the money?
no. They didn't even give you a receipt to write it off. Like, yeah, no, it's hilarious. But don't get me wrong, there's nothing, like Steve said, you have to give the guy props. Like he went from nothing to 10,000. But whatever. It's gonna take time to figure out A, what works for you, and B, what's real and what isn't real. It's life. Like there's no silver platter here. Here's everything, just do this. Like, yeah, you take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and put it together. And life experience is going to teach you the most.
Life experiences in screening. Yeah, you're going to have to screen.
Yeah.
I think even the way I'm portraying Florida right now, because you're seeing, like, I'm posting a lot more of, like, social. Like, if you see here in Toronto, I would never do it, really. I'm doing that because I want the Canadians to understand, like, quality of life. Florida's just not about the beach. So now you see, I hired a full-time assistant now, Mary. So she's taking on our social media, and she's actually migrating from North Carolina to Florida. So she's got the same love or Southwest Florida as I do. So she's posting all this stuff. So it's not like you just got to go to a beach. There's like so much to do in Florida. And that's what we're trying to portray. And I'm trying to, even with, my kids and stuff like that. I talked to someone a couple months ago, and he goes like, "You're like the Truman Show. We're watching this through your eyes, Like, is it good? Is it not good?" And I got to be honest, it's all positive. Anything that I'm posting is not bullshit. And it's just it is what it is. That's the life there.